Blood dripped onto sun-cracked earth. Her name was Naley, daughter of the Chiricahua Apache, and death rode close behind. The New Mexico desert stretched endless in every direction. Heat shimmered like spirits dancing. Her bare feet pounded the hard ground. Each step sent fire through her torn soles. Behind her, horses thundered. Men shouted crude words into the wind. 3 bounty hunters with rifles and cruel hearts. They'd been tracking her for days now. Orders were simple. Bring back the escaped Apache girl. Dead or alive. More money if she still breathed. The raid on her village was meant to erase them all. No witnesses. No survivors. No stories told around winter fires. But Naley had fought back. When a soldier tried to drag her into his wagon, she used grandfather's obsidian knife, opened his throat clean, vanished into the night like smoke. Now she was prey. Her lungs burned with each ragged breath. Sweat stung the cuts on her arms. The sun beat down merciless. She scrambled up a rocky slope, thorns tearing at her legs. Sharp stones bit through her moccasins. At the top, she dropped to one knee, scanned the wasteland ahead. Miles of nothing. No water. No shade. Just death waiting behind every ridge. She ducked into a narrow ravine, found shelter under a shelf of red rock. Her heart hammered against her ribs. Think like the wolf, she told herself. Breathe shallow. Move silent. She pressed her body against the dirt. Her skin blended with the earth itself. The obsidian blade felt warm in her grip. Footsteps crunched overhead. Leather creaked. Spurs jingled soft. She went this way, called a voice. Look for blood. Girl's leaking like a stuck pig. Another man laughed. Hope she ain't dead yet. Got plans before we turn her in. Cold rage filled Naley's belly. These weren't men. They were buzzards in boots, feeding off fear and pain. She tensed, ready to spring, ready to die fighting. Then came a new sound. Hoofbeats from above. A rifle cocked. That's far enough. The voice was calm. Steady. It carried the weight of a man who'd seen too much killing. You don't want to make your next step your last. The bounty hunters froze. Looked up, saw a lone cowboy sitting easy on a chestnut horse. His rifle aimed steady at their hearts. Dust swirled around his long coat. A wide hat shaded his weathered face. Colt Mallister, former Union soldier. Now a rancher who'd grown tired of taking orders from cowards. One hunter spat into the dirt. You got no idea what this is about. Cowboy. Walk away. Colt didn't move. I know enough. She's not a bounty. She's a human being. She killed a man. Another hissed. Then maybe he had it coming. Colt's eyes narrowed. Last warning, friends. He fired. Not at them. At a rock near their feet. The shot cracked so close it rattled their bones. Made their horses dance nervous. The bounty hunters looked at each other. Cruelty runs fast but shallow. They weren't brave men. Just mean ones. They turned their mounts. Rode off cursing into the wind. But their words carried back. This ain't over, cowboy. We know where you live. When silence settled again, Colt stayed mounted. Watched the hills. Made sure they were truly gone. Then he climbed down slow. Kept his hands visible. You can come out now, he called gentle. Naley rose from the rocks like a spirit. Her face streaked with dirt. Legs cut and bruised. But her eyes stayed sharp. She held a knife ready. Not from fear now. From habit. Colt raised both hands. I ain't your enemy. She said nothing. Didn't trust him. Why should she? Last white man she trusted had ordered her village burned. He took a slow step forward. Pulled his canteen. Set on the ground between them. You're hurt. Need water and rest. Still silence. I'm Colt Mallister. Just a rancher. You don't owe me nothing. But I ain't leaving you here to die. Naley stared at the canteen. Her throat felt like sandpaper, but pride held her steady. Apache warriors didn't take charity from strangers. Then her knees buckled. Colt rushed forward, caught her before she hit ground. She fought weakly, struggled to keep her dignity. Easy, he said soft. You're safe now. Her vision blurred. Last thing she saw was concern in his tired eyes. Then darkness took her. She woke to warmth. Firelight danced on wooden walls. Pine scent mixed with old leather and stew. Naley sat up quick, reached for her weapon, but the knife lay beside her, untouched. Small cabin, wool blanket, her wounds cleaned and bandaged. Someone had scrubbed the trailed dust from her skin. The door creaked. Colt stepped in with a tin plate and calm expression. "You're awake." He set the plate on a stool, sat by the fire, made stew, figured you'd be hungry. Been out near a day. Naley watched his every move, every breath, but he didn't stare, didn't ask questions, just poked the fire. Waited patient as stone. "You can leave when you're strong," he finally said. "No one's stopping you. But those men will come back. Find you alone, they won't be kind." She didn't answer. He sighed. "Don't expect you to trust me. Hell, if our places were switched, I wouldn't trust me either. But you saved your own life. I just made sure you kept it." Silence stretched long. Then Naley spoke her first words. "Why?" Colt looked up from the flames. "Why help me?" Her voice was hoarse but steady. He stared into the fire a long moment. Seen good people hunted. Done nothing too many times. Can't fix the past. But I can damn well stand between you and men like them. She studied his face. No lies in his tone. No pity either. Just a man tired of looking away. She picked up the stew. Tasted careful. Her belly twisted with hunger. As she ate, Colt stood. "I'll sleep in the barn. Doors unlocked. Firewood by the back wall. Left your knife right where it was." He stepped into the cool night air. Naley looked at her hands, at the food, at the blade resting easy now. She was still hunted, still afraid, but for the first time in many days, she didn't feel alone. Those bounty hunters would return, with soldiers this time. And when they came, both she and Colt would face a choice that would mark them as outlaws forever. Fire crackled in the stone hearth. Long shadows danced across cabin walls. Naley sat quiet in the corner, legs wrapped in fresh bandages. Her obsidian knife rested on her lap, not gripped in fear anymore, just resting easy. She'd slept through the night, without waking in terror. First time since her village burned. Colt returned with morning supplies. More beans and flour. Bolt of cloth. He worked the land without much talk. Fixed a broken fence. Fed his horse. Left steaming coffee by her side. Never expected words in return. But something was changing inside Naley. She'd known many kinds of men. Cruel soldiers. Greedy traitors. Traitors wearing friendly faces. Colt was different. He had no need to control her. No tricks or guilt. Never looked at her like she was helpless or dangerous. Just human. That unsettled her more than anything. She was Apache. Survivor of a people the world wanted erased. And this quiet cowboy with tired eyes had given her space when everyone else wanted her dead. By the third morning, she spoke first. "How long will they hunt me?" Colt set down his tools. Walked to the porch. "Depends. Word's out in town. You escaped. Fort Allen posted a reward. They painted you as a savage killer." "I killed no one who didn't try to take my life," she said sharp. "I believe you, but the law won't." He nodded toward the distant hills. "That ain't justice. That's politics." She stared at him. "Then why keep me here? You could be branded a traitor." Colt watched the sunrise paint the desert gold. "Maybe I'm tired of obeying cowards in uniform." That evening they sat side by side for the first time, not as stranger and fugitive, as two broken souls sharing warmth under silent stars. The desert wind whispered through sage and mesquite. Coyotes call from distant ridges. But peace don't last long in the west. A week later, dust rose over the eastern hills. 2 riders at first, then 5 more behind. Colt spotted them through a spyglass. The bounty hunters had returned. This time they brought blue coats with them. "They've come to finish it," Colt said. Naley stood. "Then I leave. Won't let you pay for saving me." But Colt shook his head. "No, I'll ride out. Led them off. You head north. Take my horse. There's a Lakota camp 2 days from here. Tell them you're friend of Colt Mallister. They'll help." She hesitated. Fire blazed in her dark eyes. "You'd sacrifice yourself for me?" "Ain't sacrificing," he replied. "I'm choosing. There's a difference." She looked at him long, then took his hand. Rough and warm, scarred by war, but steady as bedrock. He mounted his second horse, a quick roan mare, tipped his hat. "Ride smart, Apache." "You ride safe, Cowboy." Colt raced across the hills, kicked up dust clouds, drew the soldiers' eyes like a spirit in the storm. He led them through winding canyons, doubled back with expert skill, turned the chase into a deadly dance. He fired warning shots, never to kill, but to slow them, remind them the man they hunted knew these lands better than any officer fresh from Washington. Meanwhile, Naley took the northern trail. She followed hidden deer paths, traced dry riverbeds only her ancestors remembered. Her knife stayed close, but no man followed her steps. When she reached the Lakota camp, her body was weak, but her heart beat strong. An elder stepped forward, recognized her bloodline in her face. "Your father once gave me water when I was dying. Today, I return that honor." They gave her shelter, food, and terrible news. Colt had been captured. 3 days crawled by. Naley couldn't sleep. The army held Colt in a wooden cell near town's edge. Rumors flew like buzzards. Some said he'd hang for treason. Others whispered he'd be sent east for trial. None cared for truth. Colt had stood up for an Apache woman. That made him guilty in their eyes. Naley watched the outpost from a ridge above. 1 guard on east wall, 2 on west. Supply wagon came each morning. On the 4th night, she painted her face with ash, stepped into darkness. She moved like mist, swift and silent, crawled under fences, through gaps in the wall, reached the cell without sound. Colt lay on the floor, bruised but breathing. He blinked when he saw her. "You came back." She picked the lock with a thin bone tool from her braid. "I don't abandon those who fought beside me." He smiled faint. "Now I believe you're Apache." They escaped into the hills, but soldiers followed like wolves. By second day, their horses were gone, spooked and scattered in gunfire. They ran together through cactus and dust, through bullets and thunder, until they reached cliffs above the sacred canyons. No path forward. 100-foot drop. Behind them, angry voices. Naley turned to face the coming army. Colt looked at her. "We jump." Her eyes widened. "Are you mad?" "They'll kill us either way. Water's deep down there. Might live to see another sunrise." They clasped hands tight, jumped together. The river swallowed them in cold silence. They surfaced gasping, alive but battered. Current carried them downstream through walls of red rock. When they crawled out, shivering and breathing hard, the soldiers were long gone. They lay in mud, stared at endless sky. Naley laughed sudden and free. Colt coughed beside her. "Wasn't that funny?" "No," she said, still smiling. "It was freedom." Weeks passed. The world forgot them. Fort Allen turned to new enemies. The bounty was withdrawn quiet, replaced with silence. In far northern hills, near a valley untouched by railroad and greed, a new home rose. Small and honest, built by 4 hands that had learned to trust. Colt planted beans, traded furs, rebuilt what war had stolen from him. Naley hunted rabbits, grew corn, sang to stars once more. Their scars didn't vanish. The past didn't disappear. But together they made peace with memory. He, the cowboy who'd stopped taking orders. She, the Apache woman who refused to die. And neither one was hunted anymore. In the evening light, they sat on their porch, watched the desert bloom purple and gold. 2 souls who'd found each other in the wasteland. 2 hearts that had chosen freedom over fear. The wind carried their quiet laughter across the sage. And for the first time in years, the land itself seemed to rest easy.